Taxidermy is the skinning, stuffing, and posing of a bird so that you end up with something that looks alive.
The birds that are on display here, are they native to this country?
Yes, these are all Belizean natives. Some of them are permanent residents, meaning they live here year-round. Others are migrants. They spend their summers in the U.S. breeding, nesting, and then they come back for the winter. So it's a combination. But all these birds spend some time in Belize, and they were all found in Belize.
What lesson is there to be learned from this exhibition and people coming to see these birds?
Well, this exhibition highlights the biodiversity of Belize's bird species or populations. And biodiversity is important because it provides checks and balances on all the species in our ecosystem so nothing takes over and we don't end up with a lot of plants and animals that are useless. So it's about the whole piece of the puzzle on the planet and keeping things in a sustainable world.
How did you come by these birds? Did you go out and shoot them in the wild?
No, I'm working with the Audubon Society, the zoo, Belize Bird Rescue, and Belize Raptor Center. Most of these birds were hit by cars, and if they're found soon enough to try to rehabilitate them or take them to these bird and animal hospitals, they try to fix them up. If they don't live or they can't be fixed well enough to release them back into the wilds, then either they'll euthanize them, meaning they'll put them to sleep, or they die on their own. And then they've just been putting them in freezers and ultimately burning them until I arrived in Belize 3 years ago. And through my bird watching efforts and work with the Audubon Society, I found out about this natural resource that is going to waste to some degree. So I have the taxidermy skills to make them come alive and help Belize understand the wonderful natural resources they have here and preserve them.
Now these birds look as if though they're about ready to fly away. They look realistic.
Yes, a part of the skill in taxidermy is the art part of it, where you actually understand how the species lives in the wild, what it does to capture food, how it flies. So I was a bird watcher before I was a taxidermist. So I started bird watching when I was about 12 years old, and I found a few dead birds. I put them in my freezer at home, and after about a year and a half, my mother threatened, either you do something with them or I'm throwing them away. So I went to the library, I got myself a book, and started, cutting them up. It's very much like a chicken. It's not that complex taking it apart. It just takes lots of patience and dexterity. So after about 10 birds, then I knew what I was doing, and I did a lot of work in the U.S. for museums and for hunters and things like that. But most of it has been educational or scientific related. So I currently have a permit with the Belize Forestry Department to legally collect for scientific and educational permits. But the question, going back to the original question, most of the birds were provided by other agencies that are allowed to pick them up, but I myself can also pick up birds, but I have never shot anything or killed anything. That's the most important thing.